Om Sahanavavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharusibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarvalokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः मण्डूकमहर्षे नमः गौडपादाचार्यवर्याय नमः आद्यशङ्करद्गुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः ततर्वेदान्तर्गत माण्डूक्योपनिषत् ओम शांति मंत्र है भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवैतञ्यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ अलाथ शान्त्याख्य चतुर्थ प्रकरणम्। ओम अभूताभिनिवेशादिः सदृशे तत्प्रवर्तते वस्तु अभावं स बुद्ध्वैव निस्संगं विनिवर्तते। हरि ओम। Salutations to Rishi Parampara, to the Upanishad Shruti Mata, to our own gurus, and to you all. Welcome. Those are so continuous, consistent in trying to listen and grasp the very sublime logics, truths, quotations that are being given here, both by Karika Kara Gaudapadaji, Bhashyakara Sri Adi Shankara. Now, this is a topic in the entire literature of Shastras and also in our life, which is the most sublime, most ultimate. Here, I believe, ends all theory to be understood. And this is what we have to ultimately practice as sadhana also. And in the final experience, what we experience, I think this is the one. Now the thought in 79 is very clear. Abhuta viniveshat hi sadrushe tat pravartate vastu abhavam sa buddhvaiva nisangam vinivartate. This sloka every day we are seeing from last 5 days. Today in a different angle we put it. What the angle is, see this power of the mind, which with its own abhinivesha can appear or manifest the thing which is never there. See this power of the mind with its own power of keeping away. It can make even the ever eternally existing Paramatma also appear to be not at all seen. This power of the mind is called as Maya. Now you understand Maya and mind, why they are same. Now, therefore, what is crossing mind, what is crossing Maya, what is knowing Paramatma? Before that, how much ever the mind with its avinivesha, it may perceive the Dvaita, yet it can never be true or real. While getting carried away in this Dvaita, how much ever we, for how much ever long time, forget the absolute truth, it never is absent. Like how many number of years you may see snake in the rope. Snake is always false only. And even if you don't see, the rope alone is real. See the time? See the point? Therefore, just in bhakti, as we say, we are said that Mame Vaya Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. There instead of meaning it as Lord Krishna or Narayana, here Mam means Shuddha Atmavastu. Prapadyante means the one who is seeking it. Maya Metam Tarantite means he will transcend the mind's agitations or spandanam, which was creating the abhas of the non-existing thing. Put it in layman's language, if you think it is there, it is there. Because of your thinking it is there, you become responsible to attribute every attribute to that thing and also create the likes, dislikes, and also you are bound to get bound in that because you thought about it. You are responsibility. In the same way, if you stop that sankalpa or abhinivesha of the world, obviously the world of Dvaita disappears. So, मतलब सोचो तो है, नहीं सोचो तो नहीं है. इतना ही हकीकत और औकात इस जगत का. It's all in the mind. If you say it is there, it is there, it is there. With all its variety and bindings. If it is not there, not there. Like I tell you example, exhibition ground. There are 2000 stalls are there. If you say exhibition ground is there, you go, you will see 2000 stalls in each one different things. If you say it's not there, let the exhibition be there for 100 years, you have never gone there. It is not there in your life. When you don't go to exhibition, nothing happens to you. It's not compulsion. In that same way, even to have a Dehendriya Manabuddhi also is not compulsion to Paramatma. That's how, even if we transcend them, nothing happens to me, the real self. In fact, then only the real self is realized. So, Abhuta Abhiniveshadi Sadrushe Tat Pravartate. Then what to be done? Vastu Abhavam Buddhva Eva. So, through Shastra, through logic, through the words of elders, through your own Vikalpa, whatever the Sankalpa done, reach to the state of Vastu Abhava. That's called deepest meditation. Vastu abhavam sabuddha eva. As the abhava of the vastu we are valuing, so too the chitta with its spandana goes on getting away, dissolved. And a stage of deep meditation happens where chitta with its spandana along with the abhasa of the vastu, all that disappear. What you see is only Paramatma Anubhava. Now, how to put it in? There's no better examples in the world. It's like from the waking, you slowly wean away from one by thing, enter into deep sleep. Nothing there in the deep sleep. Neither you are there, nor the world, nor the equipments, nor the recognition of it. You means the waker. इतना है वेदांत की बात मुख्य रूप से. Then yesterday we were told about that Nisangaha Vinivartate was explained. This is the main shloka. Nivrittasya pravrittasya nischalahi tada sthitihi vishayasya hi buddhanam tatsamyamajamadvayam. So, nivrittasya apravrittasya nischalahi tada sthitihi. The nischalata of the chitta we have to achieve. When the chitta is nischala, two things will happen. One, the abhasas which were appearing because of chanchalata, they go away. Second side, the nischala chitta is no more a chitta. It is chitta, the consciousness. That is the goal. That is the reality. That is where we have to reach. And how this is done? By Nisangam Vinivartate. How the Nisanga is achieved? When we stop the Abhinivesha. And how the Abhinivesha done, removed? That is what is said in this sloka. Nivrittasya apravrittasya. This is what we have to learn. Nivrutta means what? From the present Nivrutta. Whatever is in front of us. Mind has a technique of its own. Ki, even if you withdraw it from the present, it will involve in either past or the future. वो प्रवृत्त हो जाती है. The memories of past experiences, people, things, etc. or future anticipations of what's going to come. What we have to practice on the seat of meditation to reach to that Nischala Sthiti, which is Atma, where Chitta, etc. are not there, is both things we have to achieve, Nivritta and Apravritta. Present से निवृत्त होना है, past future में प्रवृत्त नहीं होना है, अप्रवृत्त होना है. Guard yourself against all these three. Now see, in the logic of it itself, you can understand the entire world is in time and mind. In the mind, there is time. In the time, the world is there. Time is in three periods of past, present, and future. In past, present, and future, time only there is a space. In the time and space only, all the things, beings, objects, situations are there in which we are involving and getting experiences. Just if we decide firmly not to entertain the three kala, past, future, and present, all the desha goes away. Like still yesterday, whatever happened, I'm not going to remember. You decide this one. What happens, The entire past, people, experiences, everything become null and void. And it is our choice. And that is highest Vedanta. Highest Vedanta has only one mantra, N-O-W, N-O-W, now. He has no past, no future. And in the now, he is not there. Because in the now, what is there is only the presence. Presence is not of any bhava. Presence is of the bhava atita Paramatma. Because the present is no more a present without past and future. The one who gives a past and future is no more in the present kala, he is in the presence of Paramatma. That experience comes to us. What is the sadhana therefore? Nivrutta and apravritta. Nivrutta from the present, apravritta in the past and future. This is meditation. That we have to do. That's what contemplation, that's what willpower we have to use there. What helps for that is these pravrutti and anivrutti are the cause of chitta vikshepa or chitta spandana, which is leading to the abhas of the world, which is so enchantingly appearing that I get bound in that as it is real. And really I am suffering. No, this nivritta and aprivritta only that person who can do, who has understood that because of pravritti and anivritti, that the time and the place and the objects and things and beings पूरा मिलाकर ये द्वैत जगत जो बंधन कारण है ये बन रहा है और मुझे उससे छुटकारा पाकर I want to taste the taste of the absolute reality, the absolute self, the absolute truth, which is called as Parayanam by all the Shastras. Gurus, Rishis, Munis have reached that. From that portico, they are claiming the glorious happiness that, and they are calling us, all of us there. Let me experience it. जब तक जिनको मुमुक्षुता नहीं होता कि मुझे परमात्मा को जानना है और उसके लिए ये बंधन है नहीं जानता ना, तब तक ये छोड़कर वहां जाने का nobody will try. How much ever number of satsangas you listen, go to all masters, be around them, do all upasana, etc. Still, if these two don't happen, I want to know the truth and the world, inner and outer, is the obstruction for that. I have to transcend it. If these two thoughts are not strong, we are not at all truly genuine speaker. Of course, all other sadhanas we do, they lead to this. Unknowingly, they lead because this is the ultimate place we have to reach. Knowingly, if you do, we can reach quickly. Thought is given now. What is the thought given? Let us study all Shastras, do all our Upasana sadhana for this conviction that in the experience of self only there is liberation and the not self of the world is the bondage for its obstruction for it. I have to transcend the world. First, reach to this conviction theoretically for while doing all study. Then the second aspect is what? Making it practical. What's making practical? Finding the seat of position for dhyanam and all. In that nivruttaha, pravrutti, apravruttaha. From the present identities and duties, you withdraw. Absolutely. All obligations, attachment, desire. So, to whatever experiences we had past, you forget about them. Future, don't imagine. Then what happens? Chitta will move only in objects and things and beings of past, present, future. अब उसको खुराक नहीं दे रहे हो, वो बेहोश हो जाता है. That is called निश्चला ही तदा स्थिति. Same thing came in Bhagavad also yesterday. I said we can see today. निश्चल निवृत्तस्य प्रवृत्तस्य निश्चला ही तदा स्थिति. Now विषय सही बुद्धानाम. And the experience of that is like what? Tat samyam ajam advayam. That is the samatha sthiti. That is the unborn, undying Atma sthiti. Such one is not to one. That experience for the sake of explanation in contrast with Vishama, Dvaya and Janma Marana Vastu of Jagat said as Samyam Ajam Advayam. Those words are also invalid there. देखो जो आम खाते हो ना, नो आम का क्वालिटी क्या है, का कॉस्ट क्या है, कौन से पेड़ से आया, कौन सा रंग का है, कितना बड़ा है, कौन पूछता है वो? You are directly enjoying, right? Any other calculation are secondary. इसलिए आप देखो वो जो बताते हैं ना, you listen all that. Two people went to that mango bagicha. One person has counted 10,000 mangoes of 200 trees there. Other fellow sat there and ate one mango. Who is more happy? You understand? In the same way, in that experience, ajam, samyam, advayam words also are invalid. But in compared to the world of birth and death, it's called a ajam. And the world which is born is full of vishamata variety. In compared to that, it is called as samyam. And the world, it has multiplicity of dvaita. It compared to that, it is said as advayam. Who will experience that vana? Buddhanam Vishayaha. Vishayasai Buddhanam. Means this is done only by the very wise people of any part of the world. Whoever achieve do this, निवृत्ति अप्रवृत्ति करके जो चित्त रहित स्थिति को पहुंचते हैं, कोई भी कहीं भी, एनी पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, all of them are Buddha. They are the ones who experience it, and all are their experiences are same. Samyam Ajamadhyam. How they put it in words and how they explain it to their disciples, what examples, logics they use. Some use intellection, some use emotion, some use the compulsion. कोई किस तरह से इंटरप्रेट करेंगे वो लोगों का उनका प्रारब्ध है, बट अनुभव वही है. इसलिए बुद्धा नाम विषय. Buddha Nam Vishaya means what? Those who awaken to that, they only in experience. This is the final definition. Second, Buddha Nam Vishaya means those who want to awaken. Third, to awaken, the awakening is possible at the Buddhi level. Therefore, those who live at the level of Buddhi are pursuing the knowledge, not the emotional carrying away, not the physical temperatures, not the Indriya level. Such people can never realize. And they can be anywhere. They not only in India, they will be anywhere. Like wherever a human being is there, there's a possibility of disease, na? Anywhere. There's a possibility of sukha dukkha, anywhere. So to possibility of mukti. सनातन धर्म में सारे मुक्त पुरुष हुए हैं, ऐसा you can't compel. Anybody can get a liberation and knowledge. It has nothing to do with the place of birth and all. Sanatan Dharma from eternal time, it's the oldest and authentic. Millions and millions have realized. Following it becomes easier. Therefore, it is great. So to man or woman, ऐसा नहीं होता हो. Whoever have done Nivruta, Aparvrutta, thereby made the Sthiti Nischala of the Chitta. They are awakened to that experience, which is Ajam Samyam Advayam. So, nahi asmad vishaya gochara paramartha sahi yasmad vishaya gochara paramartha darshina buddhanam. By saying so, he is just defining the category of people who can really try for it and reach for it. It's not the bite of ordinary people. Buddhanam. At the time of Gaudapada Karika, these all people are prevalent there. That example, take Buddhana means what? Who have awakened from all the three Ashanas. Putra, Vitta, Loka Ashanas. Who have risen above these three of Dehendriya Mana. Dehendriya Mana Buddhi or Dehendriya Manase. They are all called Buddhana. Those who are, Buddha means Viveki, Vicharana Shila, living at the level of intellect, living at the level of Vijnanamaya Kosha, who are the seekers, pursuers of the truth ultimate, not who are satisfied with the appearing world. बहुत बढ़िया है. बुद्धा नाम विषयः. Now, next mantra. पुनः अपि कीदृशः च असौ बुद्धानां विषयः इतः. And can you more explain about that experience which is experienced by the awakened people, the Buddhas? Those are intellectually highly evolved people. Can you explain it? Yeah, it is like this. Ajam anidram aswapnam prabhatam bhavati swayam sakrut vibhato hi eva eshah dharmo dhatu swabhavatah. Ajam anidram aswapnam prabhatam bhavati swayam sakrut vibhato hi eva eshah dharmo dhatu swabhavatah. Ajam. The experience is ajam. Anidram, beyond the nidra. Aswapnam, beyond the dream. Now, when these words are used, don't imagine that a Atmagnani will not have a sleep or dream. We have already seen in the first, second, third, first, second prakaranas exhaustively. Whenever you say nidra, you must understand it as tattvasya agrahanam. And when you talk about Swapna and Jagrata, you have to take it as Tattvasya Anyatha Grahanam. Do you remember those words? Nidra means non-perception of the self. And Swapna and Jagrata is misinterpretation of the self. That is the meaning. Otherwise, anybody, even Jivan Mukta, when he is using his body, the body gets tired. It's the tiredness of the body, which is Prakriti of the earth, that it seeks sleep. So he will sleep. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? देह का धर्म है ना सोना, थक जाता है वो, तो उसका इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि उनका निद्रा नहीं होगा। फॉर एवरीबडी हु नेवर गेट्स स्लीप दे आर ऑल जीवन मुक्त। दैट पर्टिकुलर डिसीज इज ना इनसोम्निया और आउटसोम्निया कुछ कहते हैं उसको। आती ही नहीं नींद। अब बताओ, कोई कहते हैं आपको कि यार नींद ही नहीं आ रहा, यू आर रियली जीवन मुक्त है, बिकॉज जीवन मुक्त सोता नहीं। See, when such words are used, we have to rise above what we see in the practical outer world. We have to understand it in the context and as per what is said by the Rishi Muni Guru there. So ajam means karana rahitam, means always it is there. Anidram means the experience is that not slept to it, means not non-awakened to it. Therefore, aswapnam means there is no misinterpretation of it in the form of anything other than it. So, anidram is not seeing the rope as rope. Nidram is not seeing the rope as rope. Anidram is seeing the rope as it is. Swapna means seeing the rope as snake or garland. Aswapna means no more seeing of snake or garland, because you are not seeing the snake rope. Rope is seen as it is. And how you are able to see the rope? Because ajam. Because it's always there. It was I who was not recognizing it. Remember, I am now a jiva, dehadit adatmya, living as an individual, taking so many responsibilities or commitments or my own sankalpas or desire. That doesn't mean that at this time also I am not Atma. मैं हमेशा आत्मा ही हूँ. तुम जानो या न जानो, पाओ ना पाओ, मानो या मानो, जाओ चलो तो उस तरफ या मत जाओ. It is that so. That's why it is ajam. But when I transcend all my outer duties, identities, and inner convictions, wrong convictions, then I awaken to my truth. That's how every sadhaka does. So ajam explained, unborn, unmodifiable, undying. Anidram, never absent from the self-recognition. Aswapnam, no chance of seeing it as something else. लेकिन बंदा दूर से आ रहा है, थोड़ा दूर है, इसलिए यू विल बी कंफ्यूज कौन है, शत्रु है, मित्र है, पुत्र है. As he comes closer, you are so conspicuously seeing him, who is he, then you don't interpret him as something else. These two words in English, who is coming, I don't know, but I think. When you don't know, then you think. When you think whatever you want, not the real. When he comes near, I know, I need not think further. When you know the one who's coming is your own son, I know, there's no thinking goes on. But दूर से आ रहा है, 4-5 बच्चे आ रहे हैं, ये कौन है? Still you have thinking. Know the self, there's no thinking. And self is ajam, always there. Anidram, aswapnam is non-forgetting of it, non-misinterpreting of it as something else. No non-apprehension, no misapprehension. Ajam, anidram, aswapnam. Then prabhatam bhavati swayam. Swayam prabhatam bhavati. But how you will know that when all the upadhis are not there? Because you and I know that only through upadhi we can see the world. All the rang, color, shapes I am seeing with eye, sounds with ears, and the forms with eyes, and all that. So there all the upadhis are transcended. How the self is known, and to whom it is known. What is my position there? You know how the self is known, because sakrut prabhatam bhavati swayam. This you have to understand. One is it being the prabhaswarupa, it being the nature of consciousness, it doesn't need anything else to see it or illuminate it. Na deepasya anya deepecha yata swatma prakashane. Surya Kanti mein you will see the whole world. But to see the Surya, you don't need Kanti except your own good eyesight of the eye. Because भगवान सूर्य ही कांति स्वरूप है, उनका स्वरूप ही कांति का है. तो उनको दिखाने के लिए देखने दूसरे टॉर्च की जरूरत है क्या? फील द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट थिंग. सो स्वयं प्रभातम भवति. No upadhis are required to illuminate. Rather, all upadhis are working because of him. That Paramatma at every upadhi level working, therefore only each upadhi is doing the knowledge or knowing the knowledge of their respective fields. नाक स्मेल कर रहा है क्योंकि परमात्मा नाक के पास है, नहीं तो नाक स्मेलों को जान नहीं सकता. जानने वाला तो मन है, बट थ्रू द नोज इट गोज टू द माइंड. सकृत प्रभातम भवति स्वयं अंडरस्टूड. इट इज स्वयं प्रभातम भवति. स्वयं प्रभा है वो, सेल्फ एफल्जेंट, सेल्फ ल्यूमिनस. जब वे प्रकाशमान वस्तुएं हैं, उनको देखने के लिए कोई जरूरत नहीं होता. जलता हुआ लाइट को देखने दूसरा लाइट थोड़ी चलाते हैं, वो तो आई ही है. सेकंड वन इज व्हाट? सकृत विभाता ही एव एषः धर्मः. और इसका धर्म ही सकृत विभात मीन्स हमेशा प्रकाश स्वरूप ही है. स्वयं प्रभातम भवति मीन्स it illuminates itself, and sakrut vibhata eva is dharma means the illuminating aspect of it is eternal, original, innermost और nascent, अपना खुद का है, सहज है, स्वाभाविक है. और धातु स्वभावतः, because the स्वभाव of that vastu or परमात्मा अनुभव is प्रकाश स्वरूप only. Then who knows it? It knows itself. Then what about me? I become that. Then what do you know? Your own self. How do you know yourself as Prakasha? How do you know yourself as Prakasha? Because you are Prakash Swarupa. But who knows this Prakash Swarupa? You. And who are you? You are that Prakash. I become that light which knows itself. Simple English. And I am that light only. And eating heavy food, now we became so heavy, 220 kg. I am light. I am consciousness. Conscious of this and that is known by the ego in me. That ego is the obstruction for me to know myself as conscious self. No, this is a very trickish mathematics. That's why it never is comprehended easily. I, the individual who is trying to know myself alone, is the obstacle in the experience of myself to myself. That is why loving the universal self at the cost of discarding the individuality is the sadhana ultimately. छोटा अहम को छोड़ोगे तो ही बड़ा अहम पूर्ण अहम का अनुभव हमको होता है. बट इट वोंट बी रियलाइज नाउ. वी डू ऑल कर्मयोग, भक्ति योग, वेदांत श्रवणम कर 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 करके इतने भी करने के बाद भी अल्टीमेटली भी जब तक तो नहीं मिलता. एट दैट टाइम विथ फ्रस्ट्रेशन व्हेन वी गो टू द गुरु, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल तो लीव द पाथ एंड गो. एक आध बंदे बचे, इतना किया गुरु फिर भी मेरे को क्यों नहीं मिला. बेटा तुम अभी भी हो वहां, तुम अपने आप को छोड़ो तो फिर वो बन जाओ. You understand? Right now it won't appeal. Right now we are in a busy work of gaining all the knowledges. And who is gaining the knowledge? Ego only. The final thing is this ego has to be dissolved for recognizing the ultimate self. बट वो बाद में पता चलेगा. अहम वृत्ति को भी त्यागना है और अहम को अखंड आकार वृत्ति में बदलना है. दैट विल बी फाइनल टचेस गुरु गिव्स अस. पहले तो कन्विंस हो जाओ, कोशिश करो अपने तरफ से. Anyway, that all goes. What is the Bhashyakara saying? Now, Swayam eva tat prabhatam bhavati. Ajam anidram aswapnam. We have explained. Bhashyakara understood it. Ki we have explained it. You understood. Therefore, he did not comment it. क्योंकि पहले इतना कह चुका मैं first two प्रकरण में. तत्वस्य अग्रहणम अन्यथा अग्रहणम, all that. In the Nidra, there is only Agrahanam. In Jagra and Swapna, Anyatha Agrahanam also is there. How detailedly we studied all that topic. For days together we studied. So that aspect of first line is not commenting. Straight second line is commenting. Swayam eva tat prabhatam bhavati. What do you mean by Swayam prabhatam bhavati? Na adityadi apeksha. Means Surya, Chandra, Graha, Nakshatra or Agni or torch or tube light. They are not required to recognize it. That is the meaning of Swayam prabhatam bhavati. Why is it so? Swayam jyoti swabhavam iti arthaha. That means what? It is self-effulgent. It is effulgence itself. It is consciousness itself, it is awareness itself. Therefore, Suryadi, Adityadi are not required. That's the meaning of Swayam Prabhatam Bhavati. Now, Sakrut Vibhataha means Sada Eva Vibhataha iti etat. Sada Eva Vibhata. It's always, it never gets put off. The consciousness of conscious self is never becoming unconscious. Because if it becomes unconscious, who is the one becoming conscious of that unconscious? There must be somebody to certify it. Therefore, there is no possibility of becoming unconscious. The consciousness remains as always consciousness. That's the meaning of Sakrut Vibhataha. Means Sada Eva Vibhata iti etat. Eshaha evam lakshanaha atmakya dharmaha. This lakshana, which is the dharma of the Atma, dhatu swabhavataha means vastu swabhavataha ityarthaha. That is its nature. It is not borrowed it from somewhere else, it's awareness or effulgence. The self effulgence aspect of it is unborrowed. It is own dhatu swabhava, its own nature. And that self is me. And that is the one we remember, careful, which is pervading everything everywhere. But that is not comprehended because of our Sthula Tavati Dendriya Manabuddhi, which are imagining the entire world of multiplicity on that. Now, I'll tell you very interesting example. Okay, when tube light is there in your room, tube light का example लो, sun outside दोनों, sun ही example लो. So in the outer world when you are there, sunlight fully blazing. What do you see? You see mountains, you see the ocean, you see the rivers, you see all the forests, in that plants or trees. How many things we see in sunlight? Now, science also agreed it. Ki what we are seeing is sunlight only, not the objects. Remember this thing and listen very carefully. Be subtle. What we are seeing is only sunlight, never the objects. Objects can never be seen. And what sunlight we are seeing is sunlight which is conditioned by the objects. That's how so many forms are seen. Keeping this point in mind, if you find some instrument by which you can see only the sunlight, what you will see, there are no objects at all. Then where from the object is there, where from the sunlight having fallen on that is getting reflected or refracted or conditioned, this is called Maya, which has no answer at all. The answer is only able to see the sunlight. Same thing in the hall. In your hall room, when you see the chairs, tables, and all, in the tube light, you are seeing light only, not the objects. Light conditioned by the objects. Light cannot be purely seen by itself, nor the chair can be seen without light. You can't see the light, nascent light. इसलिए आकाश में जाओ तो पूरा अंधेरा होता है वो. Because there is no medium for the light to get reflected for us to see. It is a surprising thing. The more closer you go to sun, it becomes more black. पूरा अंधकार होता है वहाँ. कोई है नहीं माध्यम. In the same way, why I gave the example, the entire world of absence of sleep kaho, the presence of subtlety in the dream kaho, the gross presence in the waking, what is there only Shuddha Atma Chaitanya. I am feeling, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, experiencing every moment, consciousness only. And that consciousness is me only. But then that type of subtle, deep, either inquiry of the intellect or the contemplative mood is not there. On the other hand, we are sold out to these upadhi. Therefore, we are in this misinterpreted world. World misinterpreted by us in the form of forms and names. This is what is final Vedantic understanding. Tatra pratyaksham chaitanyameva. I am seeing you. Okay. Where am I seeing you? In my own mind. What is mind? It is nothing but consciousness. So, what I am seeing consciousness. Can the consciousness see consciousness? No need. Then what is there? Only consciousness. But in that only the seer seen Dvaita is imagined. This is Vedanta. This we have to sort out. What is said theoretically is experience on the seat of meditation. He is called a realized one without second conscious self. He is called as Buddhanam. Buddhanam Vishayaha. That's what said in the earlier sloka. So dhatu swabhavataha, vastu swabhavataha ityartaha. So we cannot do it universally to all. अपने अंदर हमने मांडूक्य पढ़ा, उसके अनुसार शुद्ध चैतन्य आत्मा alone is true, all other is not. So slowly let me work out. How? By dropping the chitta spandana, by devaluing the abhasas, by doing the pravrutti and removing the nivrutti and apravrutti. Through all that, we become very deep in our inner bosom. First, through japa adi, become aware of the thoughts of the mind. And with intense japa, reduce the flow of the thoughts of the mind. Then, even when we reduce all the thoughts, the knower of the thought also gets dropped. Then, chitta, which is expressing as the knower of the thought and thought, becomes chitta. This is meditation. And that is reality. And that is all pervading. And in the ignorance of that, all these are appearing. In the ignorance of the self only, all these are appearing, they are not real. They are only, why they are not real? They are coming and going. And all, फिर बाकी logic इतना सारा, you have to apply for it. Hold on to what is finally said by Vedanta. Strongly in the heart. Then only we get inspired and our path will be correct towards realizing it. Ekameva advayam brahma neha nanasti kinchana. This is what we have to experience. Okay? After experiencing it, then the realization is what? Anything appears is its own. Like right now also. Anything is its own appearance. Today we see the world without seeing Paramatma. After seeing Paramatma, we see the world but not other than Paramatma. If at all required for Vyavahara, it goes on. It has no bondage, not binding. Like a goldsmith, any ornament people ask, he makes, he is not bothered because his attention is on the reality, the gold. उसको पिघाल के दो, पिघला के उसको बिस्कुट बना के दो या कंगन बना के दो. He is not conditioned. He is worried about the true real gold. Is it not? He is not, somebody asks this one, somebody asks that one. How does it matter to him? So to the Atmagnani, self is remaining as self or appearing as world. He is not bothered. And he knows the appearance is not permanent, is not carried away. If at all it's there. और ये क्यों माना होता है? क्योंकि आत्मज्ञानी लोग आकर हमको पाठ पढ़ा रहे हैं. So when they are teaching us, how do they perceive the world? Vyavaharik satta, they give and teach us what Paramatmik says. They know there's no speaker, there's no listener at all. And when you come to the Vyavaharik level, you have to follow Vyavaharik dharmas. See the point here? Try to catch it. When you come to Vyavaharik level, Vyavaharik dharma you have to follow. If you don't want to follow the Vyavaharik dharma, you transcend and enter into transcendental state. There no dharma is there for you. There is no confusion in this. In the path of spirituality, इन चीजों में भी हमको maturity चाहिए. वो आता रहेगा. Shastra has that power to give us that knowledge also. Okay, what's the role and validity of world before sadhana, during sadhana, after sadhana. That we'll see some other time. Now here he says, next avatarika, evam uchyamanam api. In this way, uchyamaname paramartha tattvam kasmat laukikai nagruhyate iduchyate. In this way, it's such a subtle form and clear cut in so many shastras, again and again, again and again, again and again, Paramartha Tattva is told. Yet, why the Paramatma is not caught or experienced by the jivas, all of us? The question is this one. To that, the answer is in the 82nd Karika. What is said? Sukham avriyate nityam dukkham vivriyate sada yasya kasya cha dharmasya grahena bhagavanasau. Sukham avriyate nityam दुःखं विव्रियते सदा यस्य कस्य च धर्मस्य ग्रहेण भगवानसौ. See, such a sublime, subtlemost theme of experience of self. How it is being obstructed because of laukika insistences, Bhagavan Karikakara is trying to tell here. What is the question? If so Spashtarupa it is said, why still people don't experience the self? Those who don't try never anyway experience. But those who are trying, they also fail it. Why? Because sukham avriyate nityam. Atma means self is avriyate, is covered by the sukham. Sukha means sukha abhasa, sukha paristhiti, sukha vastu, then the vastu giving karma, kartrutva, some or the other sukha we are caught up. If no sukha of the world we are caught up in, we are caught up in the sukha of the nidra. देखो, that nidra sukha in the nidra avastha and then vishya sukha in the jagrata swapna avastha, we are always in that every moment till we die. Therefore, this sukha abhasa is always hiding the self which is beyond sukha dukkha. In the same way, dukkham vivriyate sada. The other thing which covers is what? Dukkha also. Either we are sukhi or dukhi. What the dukkha does covering means we try to put efforts to come out of dukkha. सुख पाना चाहते हैं, पाने के बाद लगातार चलाना चाहते हैं, दुख को भगाना चाहते हैं, नया दुख नहीं आना है ऐसा कोशिश करते हैं. And our effort is in these two only, therefore we don't realize the self. यस्य कस्य च धर्मस्य, धर्म मीन जीव साधक, जो कोई भी साधक है इन दोनों में किसी से हमेशा फंसे रहते हैं. दुख निवृत्ति सुख प्राप्ति, ही इज ट्राइंग टू डू थ्रू हिज आउटर व्यवहार, is not understanding that keeping away all outer vyavahara, when he becomes introverted and knows the self, the sukha dukkha permanently goes away. The contrast to sukha ke bajaye, the eternal infinite bliss comes to him. If he doesn't know it, he will try that only. Now these are all the things. सुख चाहते हो तो उसके साथ बिना मांगे दुख भी मिलता है, और सुख दुख में फंसे सारे जीव अप टू ब्रह्मदेव. You know, in Brahmaloka, maximum sukha, very less dukkha. But that is sukha dukkha sthiti only. In Indra Loka, Devata Loka, maximum sukha, less dukkha. But this sukha dukkha bound. Atma is beyond that. No, we are in that only caught up. No, this is the basic sadhana, starts from here, but this is the ultimate also. What is basic? The one who is freed from sukha dukkha dvandva alone can focus on sadhana. Na? Can be a spiritual seeker, can go to a class, can listen to class. शुरुआत वहां से होता है. अदरवाइज if you caught up in sukha or dukkha, you will never become to spirituality. Like when you sit in puja, no, puja is not sukha swarupa. को दुख होता है, ये वो करना पड़ता है. दुख करके छोड़ दोगे तो it will never be done. So instead of that, you are happy only in the sukha of the bhoga vastu, you will never do puja. So the first sadhana is to see balancedly the sukha dukkha. Ultimate also is this only. Final stage में even आत्मज्ञान के समय दुख निवृत्ति का सुख प्राप्ति का हमें विचार नहीं करना. Then only the Ananda Swarupa Atma is revealed. So the self in me is hidden by my own pursuit of removal of dukkha and obtaining of sukha. The moment when I pursue these two, they demand action, action demands upadhis, then upadhis come into picture, then I use them, I manage them, I maintain them, I master them. अब पूरा इसी में बिजी हो गए. Come on. Like you want to do sadhana, you are doing good sadhana only. Suddenly the daughter or a son they called, and grandchild or granddaughter is born. 5 years gone, you are into that only. You can never have freedom after that. Every moment. Gone, that's it. Is an example. That 5 years for the grandchild, good or bad, right or wrong, you decide it. मैं तो example दे रहा हूँ. In the same way, instead of that child, you take this ego and the upadhis. Like that grandmother caught up 5 years there, this grand jiva caught up in his ego and the upadhi from eternal time, with so many lives, is always pursuing sukha dukkha, is not transcending them. Here sukha is nidravastha, dukkha is jagrata swapna. Because in jagrata swapna always there is effort. Effort itself is dukkha. In nidra there is no effort, only sukha. Is there any effort in nidra? No. That means what? Effortlessness is happiness. In waking and dream, what are we doing? Working, working, working means effort and effort, effort. Therefore, there is no sukha. That's why nobody wants to work. That is the nature. किसी को मेहनत करने का इच्छा क्यों नहीं होता? Because self is so lazy. It is so infinitely blissful. It has nothing to do. But the sukha, like of the outer world not doing anything, depends on lot of when you earn the punya, because of punya, everything luxurious, comfortable, then you don't need to work and go for any effort. Is it not? So too the Atma Sukha, Atma ka Sukha Swarup hone ke baajud bhi, when you work out through sadhana and reach to that, then you can relax. But before that, Sukamavrite Nityam, Dukkham Vivrete Sada, Yasya Kasya cha Dharmasya, Garahena, Bhagavan Asau. What is said in the Bhashya? Let us see. Yasmat, why is the reason? Why we are not trying for realization and knowing the self? Yasya Kasya chit Dvaya Vastunaha. Yasya Kasya means any of the Dvaya Vastu, some object other than the self. Vastunaha, that is called Dharmasya. Yasya Kasya is Dvaya Vastu. Dvaya vastu is dharma. So yasya kasyasya dharmasya means what? Yasya kasyachit dvaya vastunaha dharmasya. Grahena means grahana aveshena. Grahana means not necessarily through panchendriya, but through the mana buddhi also. We are always revolving or relating to some or the other vastu only, which is belonging to the Dvaita Jagat. देखो परमात्मा का ध्यान होता ही नहीं हमको, कुछ ना कुछ इस जगत के ही वस्तु का. यू आर स्टडिंग, वी आर स्टडिंग फ्रॉम सो मेनी ईयर शास्त्र, बट इवन देन 20 hours of our day, 18 hours, we are only यस्य कस्य द्वय वस्तु चिंता इज गोइंग ऑन ओनली. सिर्फ क्लास में ही सुनते हैं, वो भी तत्व नहीं सुनते, शब्द शब्दार्थ सुन रहे हैं. तत्व इज बियॉन्ड शब्द एंड शब्दार्थ. इन दिस वे आप देखा जाए ना, वी आर वेरी फार अवे फ्रॉम द दक्षिणामूर्ति स्टेट ऑफ speaking without speech, listening without listening, and knowing without knowing. Anyway, that is very sublime. आ जाओ इधर. कहते हैं यस्मात् यस्य कस्यचित् द्वयवस्तुनः धर्मस्य ग्रहेण means ग्रहण आवेशेन means मिथ्या अभिनिविष्टतया. You are fully established in the मिथ्या. मिथ्या अभिनिविष्ट means मिथ्या में ऐसे फंस गए कि यही reality. Like nowadays, all Hindus are caught up. Festival means holiday and enjoy. Therefore, they make food, eat it, and sleep and play. Such a nonsense thought came now. Festival means from your routine, you pull your mind and dedicate the whole day through upasana and upavasa ityadi to the Lord. But we are aviniveshita because of some started misguidance. Everybody started doing it. No holiday on any of the festival should be given. Rather, whichever the place, wherever they are, either working workers or student, there they should celebrate that festival by doing that puja. That's called celebration of the thing. Celebration of festivals is withdraw from routine to materialistic life, involve in upasana. अब घर में सबके साथ पूजा करने के लिए ऑफिस में छुट्टी दे रहे, बट उसको वैसा तो भी यूज करो. Other than upasana and upavasa, festival should not be taken as enjoyment. But अभिनिवेश हो गया कि नहीं उसका? Every relation is only for one reason, to pour your unconditional love. Thus become an embodiment of love. That love in every relation, relativity, when you express, you transcend all relativity, you reach the absolute. That's the technique. That's called bhakti. But how much polluted is every love of ours? You can't call it as love at all. It is only attachment, expectation. अभिनिवेश हो गया उसका. To such an extent that the idea that the love can be impersonal and pure, even that we are not able to understand, in fact. For in love, there is no person required. You are love, that's it. Whoever come around you, they are basked in that love. Like Lord Surya is light. Whoever comes in his presence, he get basked in that light. And the sarupa of the Atma is prema. Parapremaspadatvat, we have studied in all Upanishads. But that's forgotten now. Everything love means attachment. Expectation is love. Taking is love. Oh no. Love has no bounds, means bargains, exchanges, kuch nahi hai. Just The maximum expression of love is service. That service is subtler, important है, gross से भी ज़्यादा. Like what's my love for Ukrainians at this moment who are so much suffering? Only one thing. In my own heart, I say to the Lord, may their all agonies, dukkha go away. May they be stabilized in their own hearts and minds. May they get back their own places. May all these problems go very soon. May all the causes which cause such things never happen, not only there but anywhere. This my love is more powerful than anything else. But this should be done with very deep, and the depth will depend on how much I detach myself from Dehendra Mana Buddhi and identify with the self, which is the love symbolized. But nobody knows all these subtle things. With the same love, I should love the Russian soldiers also, including Putin. With my love, I should change his mind. That's the love. That is the real contribution. But it has fallen to such a level. Listen, I am telling the explanation of Abhinivesha. In the same way, what we see the Lord, self, but we have done the Abhinivesha of Vastu only. Everybody. जैसे मैं चोरी करता हूँ, रे तुम क्या कहते हो? अरे करो यार, मैं भी आता हूँ, दोनों मिलकर चोरी. करना चोरी गलत है, लेकिन एक दूसरे के सहारे दोनों कर रहे हैं कि नहीं? In the same way, I see the world, Lord as world. What do you say? Yeah, मजा आ रहा है. Even I also see the Lord as the world. There is no Lord. Let us talk it as world only. When two people talk, that's what nonsense everywhere you see. Where are the two people we talk who talk that the world is nothing but Paramatma? नहीं है. Are you understanding how the individual thoughts mold the total world? All that is abhinivesha. We are explaining the word abhinivesha. Mithya abhinivishtataya. Mithya means unwanted, unreal, non-existing, cause of problem. Then what's happening? Abhinivishtataya. Sukham avriyate. Anayasena achyadhyate iti artha. Easily, because of कुछ न कुछ विषय का अभिनिवेश होने के कारण ये परमात्मा आराम से ढका जा रहा है. अर्थः द्वय उपलब्धि निमित्तम ही तत्र आवरणम न यत्नांतरम अपेक्षिते. You need not do any effort other than giving value to Dvaita to cover the Advaita Atma. Dukkham cha vipriyate prakatikriyate paramartha jnanasya durlabhatvat. Now, the dukkha, because Paramatma alone is the Sukha Swarupa, you have not established in that. Therefore, the dukkha is felt. The dukkha is adding as second cover to the Sukha. Sukham avriyate means not happiness covers the Atma. That is one interpretation we made. Sukham avriyate means easily the self is covered because of Sukham is easily covered because of Dvaita Abhinivesh. Means other than the Abhinivesh of Dvaita, you don't need anything else to cover the self. Or always we are in the Dvaita Abhinivesha, therefore the self is never revealed. And self is not revealed, self is Ananda Swarupa, Ananda is not there, therefore Dukkham Vivriyate is perennially in the Dukkha. Dukkham cha Vivriyate Prakatikriyate Paramartha Jnanasya Durlabhatvat. Bhagavan Asau Atma Advaya Deva iti artaha. Who is the Bhagavan here? The Atma Advaya Deva. अतः वेदांतैः आचार्यैः च बहुशः उच्यमानः अपि. By all the Vedanta acharyas and shastras, bhavsha bahuprakara, in many places, even though about the greatness of self and sadhana to realize self is explained, yet naiva jnatum shakya iti arthaha. That is why it is becoming difficult. Because one day we have to explain this question also. If the Atma Anubhava is realization and gives Nirantara Anandam, and it is my own self, why I am not gaining that? I must know the reason. And that reason is also subjective. Because you are Abhinivesha with Dvaita, Aram se self is covered. And self covered, therefore you are in Dukkha. Half of the time you are struggling through the Dukkha only. Abhi kya karu bechara. That is the quotation is one. Ashcharya Vakta Kushalosya Labdha iti Srutehe. Upanishad also says the Vakta is Ashcharya to talk about this, and Labdha is more Kushala. Only a Ashcharya Vakta means that Vakta, after experiencing, finding the right words to explain to the Guru Shishya. Shishya also, as Guru explains, exactly catches he is a really rarer than the rarest of the disciple. Combination of these two is very rare. That's why Ashcharya Vakta, Kushalosya Labda, Ashcharya Gnata, Kushala Na Narena Varena Prokta, Esha Sugneya Dharmaha. That's how Kathopanishad talks about. That's what. Now, asti na asti iti adi sukshma vishaya api panditanam grahaha bhagavataha paramatmana avaranaha eva. The big pandits who with all shastric knowledge and highest logics are trying to talk about Paramatma is asti and nasti. Big pandits. To them also with all their panditya, the self is hidden. To them, the great Panditas, great Jnanis, Shastrakaras, who study Shastra instead of experiencing him, trying to fight with each other to define Paramatma whether Asti or Nasti. अब ऐसे लोगों को ही परमात्मा ढके रहते हैं तो फिर किमुता परमात्मन आवरणा पंडितानां ग्रहाः भगवतः परमात्मन आवरणा एव किमुत मूढजनानां बुद्धिलक्षणाः इति एवं अर्थं प्रदर्शनाः. What to talk about the mudhas who are only living at the level of देहेंद्रिय मनोबुद्धि. देहेंद्रिय मनोबुद्धि को सत्य मानकर विश्व में फंसने वालों को परमात्मा ढके रहते कोई आश्चर्य नहीं है. Because even the big panditas also are still pulling their hair to talk about Paramatma is there or not, in what way and what not. None of them are experiencing Paramatma, because if you experience, you will enter into silence. You won't talk anything. This is talked about all great so-called pandits of any of the religion or in Hindu religion who argue about Paramatma. Bhagavan Shankara has not argued with anyone. He only logically kept in front. He never insisted. That's why even after Advaita established, only the Dvaita Vishishta Advaita came, because people could not reach to that level. शंकर भगवान पहले आए ना, बाद में रामानुज, बाद में मध्वाचार्य आए. If the Advaita is ultimate, how come the other things can come after it? That doesn't mean Advaita is not ultimate. People have not reached that. They are incapable. Therefore, they are at the lower level. So it never insisted. He has put all logics, everything, because of this is reason, this is Shastra, this is sadhanas. Ekamevadvyam Brahma is absolute truth. कह के चले गए. आप फॉलो करो ना करो, दूसरे उन जीवों के स्थाई के अनुसार है. एनीवे, महाज्ञानी पंडित ओनली कोई अस्ति कहते, कोई नास्ति कहते, कोई नास्ति नास्ति कहते, कोई नास्ति अस्ति कहते हैं. They only are caught up. Chalastiro bhavaya bhavai avrunnoti esha balishaha. This is a shloka. I will chant it. Tomorrow we'll say asti nasti iti nasti nasti iti va punah chalastiro bhaya bhavai avrunnoti eva balishaha. कोट्यश्चतस्र एतास्तु ग्रहैर्यासां सदा वृतः भगवानाभिरस्पृष्टः येन दृष्टस्य सर्वदृक् प्राप्य सर्वज्ञतां कृत्स्नां ब्राह्मण्यं पदमद्वयम् अनापन्नादिमध्यान्तं किमतः परमीहते. विप्राणां विनोह्येषः शमप्राकृत उच्यते तमप्रकृतिदान्तत्वादेव विद्वान् शमं व्रजेत्. सवस्तुसोपलम्बं च द्वयं लौकिकमिष्यते अवस्तुसोपलम्बं च शुद्धं लौकिकमिष्यते अवस्त्वनुपलम्बं च लोकोत्तरमिति स्मृतं. ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च विज्ञेयं सदा बुद्धैः प्रकीर्तितं. ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञता हि सर्वत्र भवति इह महादयः. ज्ञेयाज्ञेयाप्यपाख्यानि विज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणतः तेषामन्यत्र विज्ञेयात् उपलम्बस्त्रिषु स्मृतः. प्रकृत्याकाशविज्ञेयाः सर्वे धर्मानादयः विद्यते न हि नानात्वं तेषां क्वचन किञ्चन. आदिबुद्धा प्रकृते वा सर्वे धर्मा सुनिश्चिताः यस्य भवति क्षान्ते सोमृतत्वाय कल्पते. While reading all that, I तो feeling बचपन से only संस्कृत पढ़ के, after having mastered Sanskrit by the age of 20, 25, 20, from then onwards, if we are fully involved only in study of Upanishad with Bhashyas and Karikas and Vartika, by the age of whatever, we would have by now got thorough knowledge of all Shastra along with conviction, and even we might have crossed some distance in our sadhana. नहीं लग रहा आपको? कितना बढ़िया सा ज्ञान संस्कृत भाषा में है. भाषा भी नहीं सीखा और इस मार्ग में आए नहीं. कहाँ कहाँ अटकते भटकते लटकते सटकते झटकते गए. एटलीस्ट नाउ desire this. First desire is strong desire, mastery in Sanskrit Bhasha. And that Sanskrit Bhasha mastery is not for any poetry or prose writing, not for any other entertainment or enchantment. Only one purpose of thoroughly understanding the heart of rishis and munis who have given us this literature, Vedantic Shastras. Then through that we reach out. And Vedanta Adi cannot be spoken in other languages as efficiently as in Sanskrit, as effectively as. Therefore, Sanskrit पढ़ने के बाद ही even हिंदी, इंग्लिश, तेलुगु में बोलने का हमको ताकत आता है. We may not know Sanskrit, but after reading it only, we get the ideas to talk about. Left to ourselves, our ideas in our other languages other than Sanskrit about spirituality are very, very superficial. Even if get Tulsidas written Tulsi Ramayana or Potana wrote Bhagavata, that is based on original only. That's why important Sanskrit Bhasha as well as Sanskrit Bhasha is only for Shastras. हम सब अशास्त्रीय असंस्कृत बन गए और शास्त्रीय बम लगाते अब क्या करें Tomorrow we'll see. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namah Paramarshibhyo Namah Parabrahmane Namah Srutivate Manduka Maharshe Gaudavadacharya Adya Shankarat Gurave Asmat Guru Bhyo Namah Tatsat Brahmarpanastu. Please give me 10 minutes, 15 minutes for Vidura Niti. Hari Om.